Fantastic. I will hand it over to you, and Dan will be presenting on license management and transfers, and the show is yours.
Thank you, Charles. Let me share my screen. Okay, so hi everyone, welcome back. I will now talk about how to manage the registered devices in the customer support portal. First off, how can you transfer a device from an account to another support account? Please note that this transfer does not legally transfer the ownership of the device. For example, if Company A purchased this device under their name and one day decided to transfer to another unrelated company, in our system record, the device ownership is still under Company A, and therefore future renewals will still have to be done under the name of Company A. So to legally transfer the device from one company to another, please refer to the secondary market policy. And for more details of the secondary market policy, you can actually search it in the customer support portal under the search bar at the top right, just type secondary market policy. So you may wonder, what are some of the situations you will need to transfer a device? So for example, if you have registered the device to the wrong account and would like to transfer to the correct account, or you could be working for an organization with several support accounts created for various departments and that you would like to have the device transferred to the correct department for management purposes. There are two ways to transfer a device from the portal. The first method involves navigating to the product section and going to the assets page. And the second method is by going to the product section and then to the devices page. Next, so on the assets page, search for the serial number and click on the transfer asset icon on the right. The next step would be enter the email address of the user or the recipient that you want to transfer the device to. For this, please take note that the recipient must be a registered support portal user as well, with membership access in the support portal account. When you transfer an asset to a user email address, the user can accept or reject the asset in his or her account after logging in to the customer support portal. Also, if you are an authorized service provider of Palo Alto Networks, you will have the option to transfer the device from your ASC partner account to a target account ID instead of transferring to a recipient's email. If an asset to be transferred is associated with logging storage, the user will have to confirm removal of the logging service before you can click the Submit Transfer button. Next. So the second method to transfer a device is to go to the product section in the customer support portal, then select the devices page. Search for the serial number of the device to be transferred. Click on it, and a device information window will be displayed. And then you click the transfer ownership button at the bottom of the window. Next, in the device transfer window, enter the email of the user to receive the device and click Submit Transfer. Please note that only, again, the authorized support center partners will have the option to select the support account ID. So some additional notes for device transfer. If there is a Cortex Data Lake subscription attached to the serial number, a pop-up screen will appear asking you to confirm that you wish to remove the logging storage prior to completing the transfer. When you click on Yes to confirm, the authorization code associated with that serial number will then be removed from the database and the transfer will be completed as requested. Now I will show you some demo videos on how to transfer a device as well as how to accept a device transfer. The first video will show you how to transfer a device from the asset page. Let me maximize the video. So in the customer support portal, under the products assets page, so we are now using this device ending with serial number 1258. So we are trying to transfer this device to another person now. So after searching for the device, look to your right. Hover your mouse to the right, there will be this transfer asset icon, which appears as two parallel arrows pointing in opposite directions. Let me show you again. So it's here. So if you notice, there is also another transfer button, which is here. Please do not click on this transfer button, because this transfer button is actually another functionality, which is the bulk transfer option. So this bulk transfer functionality only applies to account super users. Okay, so do not click on this button. Instead, click on the transfer asset icon on the right. So once you click on that, it will bring you to this page, and you will have to enter the recipient's email address. So once you enter the recipient's email address, be sure to check on the checkbox that says notify user. And that way, the recipient will receive an email notification stating that a device is pending for his acceptance. So once you click on the Submit Transfer button, there will be a successful notification at the top right of the customer support portal. And it says asset is pending transfer, waiting for recipient to accept transfer request. So only when the recipient accepts the transfer, then the transfer is completed. Okay. So the next video that I'll be showing is how to transfer a device from the devices page. So again, go to the customer support portal. Under products, instead of assets page, we go to the devices section. So click on the devices section. And you will see a list of devices. So search for the serial number that you would like to transfer out. So in this case, we search the serial number ending with 1258 again. So if you notice, there is another device here with the serial number ending with 0204, and it says transfer rejected, highlighted in red. So this happens if the recipient rejected the device transfer. Then the device will remain in the account with this status reflecting. Okay, so we'll move on. So now we are proceeding to transfer this device serial number ending with 1258. So here it is. So click on the serial number, and there will be a new pop-up window. So in this pop-up window, click on Transfer Ownership button at the bottom, and then it brings you to this another pop-up. Again, enter the recipient's email address, and then be sure to check on the checkbox that says Notify User before you hit the Submit button. And then again, there will be a message that says device is now pending transfer until the recipient receives the device. So next, I will talk about how to accept or reject the transfer of a device. So the recipient will receive an email notification stating that a device is being transferred to him or her. So this is an example of how the notification will look like. So to accept or reject the device transfer, the user will have to log into the customer support portal. And if the user has multiple membership access in several support portal accounts, he has to verify the current account, which is the account that will be receiving the device transfer. If not, he will have to click on the account selector at the top and select the correct account. You can also accept and reject the device transfer either from the products assets page or from the products devices tab. So to accept a device transfer from the assets page, navigate to the products assets section and then hover to the right. You will see a blue button that says account actions. Click on the account actions and it will be expanded, and then select incoming transfers. Then you hover to the right of the device to accept or reject the transfer. To accept a device transfer from the devices page, so instead of the assets page, you go to the devices page under products, then click on the review pending device transfer button at the top, which is highlighted in blue as well. So once you click on the review pending device transfer button, it brings you to this window. So you select the device that you would like to accept. And if you like to reject the device, click on the other button, which is the reject button. So now I will show you a demo video on how to accept a device transfer. And this is done via the assets page. So again, go to the products page and the assets section, click on it, and search for and ensure that you are in the correct account that you would like to have the device be located in. So once you have selected the correct account, hover your mouse to the right and you see the account actions button. And then click on incoming transfers. It will then bring you to this page. So in this page, you will see a list of devices that has been transferred to you and pending your acceptance. So select the device serial number that you would like to accept in this particular account. Okay. So in this case, you saw the device serial number ending with 1258, and you click on the accept button. Simple as that. So once you click on it, there will be a successful notification as well that indicates that asset is transferred to you successfully. You can then double confirm by going back to your customer support portal account under the assets page. Look for the device that you have just accepted. So in the assets page, I've just accepted the device ending with 1258 serial number. So here it is.
So Daniel, just to throw a quick question at you there, when the transfer is kicked off and you're sending an email to a person who's actually going to be receiving a device, do they receive an email notification, or do they just need to go in and look at the portal to watch for it to arrive?
Yes, they will receive a notification. So that email notification is what it looks like in their email inbox, the recipient's email inbox. And
Okay.
they will also have a notification. It will also appear in the notification bell when they log in to the customer support portal.
Oh, so they're being told in multiple places. That's great. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So next, I will show you a demo video on how to accept a device transfer from the devices page instead of the assets page. So similarly, go to products and ensure you are at the correct account, and then you go to products. Instead of assets, go down to devices. So you see a list of devices and review pending device transfer. So click on this button highlighted in blue, and it will bring you to this pop-up. There will be a list of devices that is pending for your acceptance as well. So again, select the serial number that you would like to accept. And once you click on the accept button, again, there will be a notification in green that says device transfer successful. And then it will be reflecting in the devices page when you search for the serial number. So here it is. Next, I will show you a demo video on how to reject a device transfer. So basically, it is very straightforward. So the steps are the same. So instead of clicking on the accept button, you click on the reject button. Basically, it's just that. Okay, so anyway, let me show you how. So here it is, the device that is pending your acceptance. Instead of clicking accept, you click on reject. And then there will be a confirmation that requires you to confirm again whether do you want to cancel the transfer. So you click on yes, and there will be a notification that says asset transfer request rejected by recipient. So this device will not be appearing in your account. It will remain in the original account and with the status reflecting as transfer rejected highlighted in red. So next, now I'm going to talk about how to transfer licenses to a spare device. So firstly, what is a spare device? A spare device does not have any licenses of its own. The purpose is to inherit the licenses of the production device in case the production device fails. And here are some of the prerequisites to take notes for transferring licenses. So firstly, this process applies only to PA series hardware firewalls. It is not applicable to VM series, CN series, and cloud NGFW firewalls. So before transferring licenses to the spare device must be registered in the customer support portal. Ensure that you have a model compatible spare to replace a defective PA series NG firewall. For example, to replace a defective PA220 model, you will also need a PA220 model spare. You can replace your defective firewall by transferring license to the spare device using either of the three methods. The first method is to find a defective firewall serial number in the assets page, and then CSP will help you to find a compatible PA series spares to replace your defective firewall. The second method is to find a PA series spare, search for the spare serial number in assets page, and then CSP will help you to find a compatible production firewall for you to replace. The third method, find a PA series spares in the product spares page. So this is useful if you cannot find the defective serial number anymore in your customer support portal. So you come to this, you use this method to transfer the licenses. And the reason why you can't find a defective serial number in your customer support portal, it is usually because you have already returned the defective device through RMA back to Palo Alto Networks. Next. Let's begin with the first method. If you already have the defective serial number on hand, and you have a registered spare device that is compatible with the defective firewall that you want to replace, use the CSP assets page filters or search to find the defective firewall serial number which you want to replace. Then hover your mouse over and click Licenses Subscriptions icon for the PA firewall. The next step, it will bring you to this page. Click the Transfer License button at the bottom of the page. The portal will then display a drop-down list of compatible spares. Select the spare serial number that you want to transfer the license over. then click on the transfer button. CSP will also display a warning that stating that this transfer operation cannot be reverted. So you have to click Agree and Submit button in order to complete the license transfer. Please note that if a license expires prior to the transfer, it will also be expired on the replacement. The defective device will be given licenses valid for 30 days from the date of transfer, regardless of the status of the license before the transfer. So transferring the licenses out of the defective unit does not immediately shut down production or activity of the defective unit. So even if a previously expired license will still be valid for 30 days on the defective unit after the license transfer. Next. The second method to transfer license is having the serial number of the spare device on hand, and you have also registered the spare device. You then search for the serial number of the spare and go to Licenses and Subscriptions drawer and click on the Transfer License button again and follow the steps described in the previous section. The third method comes in handy when you cannot locate the defective firewall serial number in the Products Assets section of your portal. So as I mentioned, this is because the defective firewall is returned back to our warehouse. The inventory team scrubs the serial number from the licensing database. So in this case, you will need to follow the steps below to complete the license transfer. So the first step is to go to Products and go down to the Spare section and locate the RMA replacement serial number. Next, you select and click on the spare serial number, and in the device information pop-up window, select Transfer Licenses at the bottom of the window. Next. If you cannot find the source device serial number in the list, then look at this function called Can Find Defective Device. It is located under the Available Source Devices heading. So click on it. This will open a new search field and you can enter the defective serial number there. Once the defective serial number is displayed in the list, select and click on Confirm Transfer and then Yes to confirm the transfer. Now I will show you some demo videos on how to transfer licenses to a spare device. So for the first method is to transfer licenses from the defective serial number. So if you have the defective serial number on hand, go to your customer support portal under Products Assets page, search for the serial number. So in this case, the defective serial number is ending with 5161. So here it is. And then hover your mouse to the right. You see the Licenses and Subscriptions button. Over here, click on it. And this brings you to this page. So in this page, you will see the current licenses that are associated with this defective device. So in this defective device now, you see that there are 3 licenses, with 2 of them being expired and 1 is still valid. So after which, click on the Transfer License button at the bottom of the page. And then, under Available Spare Devices, select the spare device serial number that you would like to transfer the license to before clicking on the Transfer button at the bottom. Again, there is a warning that says transferring a license is a permanent operation. So in this warning, you can also double check the device serial numbers. So ensure that you have the correct serial numbers. So now you are transferring licenses from this device ending with 5161 to the spare device serial number ending with 1258. So if all this is correct, click on Agree and Submit. So once you have clicked on Agree and Submit, this is a notification that says that the licenses are being transferred successfully to this serial number 1258. And then if you notice the original device serial number ending with 5161, previously it has 2 expired licenses. And now this 2 expired licenses becomes active. So earlier on I mentioned, even if the licenses are expired prior to the license transfer, once the license transfer is done, the original device, the licenses on the original device will then be valid for another 30 days. As for the replacement device, where you have transferred the licenses over to, we can search for the device under the assets page. And from there, you can see the licenses that were transferred over to this device. So if you notice, why are 2 of the licenses appearing as expired? Because these licenses were expired prior to the transfer in the original device. So when you transfer the licenses, it will transfer the expired licenses over to the replacement device. And the next video will be to transfer licenses to the spare device by using the spare device serial number. So if you do not have the defective serial number on hand and you have the spare serial number on hand, then use the spare serial number, search under the products assets page, and then click on the transfer licenses icon. And this brings you to this page. On the drop-down, select the defective serial number which you would like to transfer the licenses from. And then click on the transfer button at the bottom. Again, the same notification will appear. So check the serial number before you click on Agree and Submit. So once the licenses are transferred successfully, again, you will see the same notification at the top. And then when you do a refresh on the assets page, on the replacement device, you will see that the licenses have indeed been transferred successfully. Okay, so I have come to the end of my segment. Before we move on to RMA best practices, any questions that you would like to clarify, feel free to raise them in the chat box, and I will hand it over to Charles.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. As we just said, if anyone does have any questions, please throw them in the chat. Oh, we got one here. How do you transfer license with air-gapped deployments? Do we do it manually? Is the question from George.
Okay, so for licenses that are air-gapped, you do not have an internet connection, we can actually do the transfer licenses from you at our end. So you can always create a support case, and then we will transfer the licenses for you.
Okay. George, I hope that answers your question sufficiently. Perfect. He says, thanks. Good. If anyone else has any other questions, Daniel, I'm hoping you'll be sticking around for the next speaker. But if anyone has questions, please, again, put it into the chat. As I did a little bit ago, I shared a link out to the live community where after the event is over today, if anyone does have questions or want to continue any of these discussions later, that link will not only have the videos from today's recordings, it'll also be a place for you to be able to chat with ideally the speakers from here or any other engineers or people that are on live community who might be able to help out with any questions you have. So doesn't look like we have any other questions coming in at this time. So with that, Daniel, we'll go ahead and do another 10-minute break here. Let me go ahead and share my screen out for this.